Welcome to the Lord of Patriarchy, War Corp 666, or your old pal, your old drinking buddy, Dave. I am with the Dark Conservatarian, or DarkCon, or Zach, as we're probably going to be referring to each other in this debate. We're going to be discussing abortion. This is one of these times where it's kind of nice to debate somebody who agrees with you. We see eye to eye on a lot of things, but this is one of the things we don't. So I'll give him a chance to introduce himself, say whatever he wants to say, and then he is going to make the opening statement. Then I'll make my opening statement, and then we'll get to the debate.
All right. Hello, everybody. I am Zach, the Dark Conservatarian, constitutional conservative, libertarian, capitalist, Christian ranter at your service. Check out my channel. I have a podcast I call Strike Force, where I read news articles that I think are the most relevant of the moment, and just articles in general that intrigue me. And I do lots of response videos as well, particularly to the TYT progressive crowd and so on and so forth. Yeah, that's my mainstay. And I just have one very quick question to you, Corpse. Have you ever had on somebody who is anti-abortion? Anti-abortion?
I don't know what they're. Yes, I have debated Christians in the past, and I would assume they were anti-abortion. I debated Big Lundy, and it was kind of odd because he's pro-abortion but anti-death penalty. I honestly, it's never come up. You're the first person to ever challenge me on it, even though I've said if you feel free, go ahead and challenge.
Here I am.
I think that, before we get into this, one other thing I'd like to say is, debates like this are sadly becoming a dying art where two people, can actually respect one another and disagree on an issue. Now it's, oh, you disagreed with me on this? Then be gone! Banished from my life, are you?
Shout fest.
Yeah, or, well, it's not even a shout fest. It's not even an argument. It's not even a debate. What happens is a bunch of crybaby, whiny, faggot college students storm the fucking stage, smear red paint or period blood all over their faces, and victory, I guess.
So, that's pretty gross.
I would say abortion. I don't want to speak for anyone that I've fought in the past, because quite frankly, I don't remember them all. But I would say this is the first time I've ever debated abortion. I will say that.
Okay, well, I'm glad to be the first.
So, if you'd like to make an opening statement.
Yeah, okay, so to lay the groundwork of my opening statement, just a very quick question. The one tweet that you posted on Twitter saying, I don't know of how DarkCon is going to be able to win this debate since the nation won't legislate based on his personal beliefs. Was he meaning religious beliefs or just in general? Let's go.
Kind of. The thing is most anti-abortion arguments that I hear and that I fought against and that I can counter stem from a belief and stem from a thought that abortion is wrong because whatever God you happen to believe in says that they're wrong.
Right, that's the stereotype, but
also,
you did...
it also stems from a belief that somehow a meatball growing inside of a woman that at one point will become a human supersedes the rights of the woman carrying it, and also ignores the fact that, quite frankly, abortion solves far more problems than it creates.
Okay, so you kind of did think, when you meant by personal beliefs in that tweet, you were meaning my religious beliefs?
Well, I don't know where you can make a legal argument, because laws in this country are basically, the idea is that if we make something illegal, it And yes,
So is that a yes I'm
this
hearing?
gets stretched, but basically, you're gonna have to try to convince me that it should be that abortion is somehow immoral, but doesn't use your own personal beliefs. Because again, my personal beliefs say that it's wrong to force a woman to carry a child if she doesn't want to. I also know the harm that if you outlaw abortion, what that causes. Now you could also make the argument that my personal beliefs are influencing this.
So is that a yes to my question then?
I guess how's this? I'm going to be shocked if you actually can make an argument that doesn't involve your personal beliefs.
Okay. So now on to my official opening statement regarding my own personal position on abortion. When I was first introduced to abortion, it was through a picture of an aborted fetus. Like I cannot remember what stage it was. It was one of Dr. George Tiller's victims, to say the least. Here for he was the local abortionist here in Wichita. And so when I first saw that, my first thought was not, oh, I should take a look in the Bible and see of what verse it is where God says that thou shalt not commit abortion. I mean, I just right off the bat thought, oh, who would kill a little child like this? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, obviously, my position has evolved over the years, as I'll get into that. But with my position on abortion, there might be a yes. Can you still hear me? I'm getting okay. Stop script. So sorry.
Yeah, I can hear you. You're fine.
Okay. I said had a message pop up that said there was an unresponsive script. But anyway, so as far as my own religious beliefs and abortion, like, yes, I do believe that murder is wrong, and I do consider abortion to be more or less murder, but that's not what fuels my belief. My belief on abortion, I usually try to avoid talking about religion, as I did when I first talked to S-Man for the very first time in a live stream. It was about abortion. My belief is that all humans, all innocent human beings who have not committed a single immoral act in their life, like murder, rape, and so on and so forth, deserve the right to life. And that goes the same for these unborn babies. What I say is a good metric for determining what is a human is what you say as well, brainwaves. And according to the Endowment for Human Development, it starts at about 6.5 weeks. So I think that the legal cap, in my personal opinion, aside from life of mother, should be like 7 weeks. I mean, yes, I am against it, abortion in rape cases. Incest, I don't know, maybe somebody can talk me more about that, but definitely on the convenience case, I'm against abortion for any time after 7 weeks. Before 7 weeks, when we can't detect any brain waves, I equivalent that kind of to somebody who is brain dead. Because when you have like a patient who is brain dead in the hospital, then the jurisdiction of whether or not their life, if you can plausibly call them that, I mean, they still might have working lungs and heart, but brain death pretty much means death. And so the jurisdiction of whether or not to pull the plug falls on the next in line, the closest family member, and so on and so forth. So I kind of equivalent the case of abortion before 7 weeks to the same as that, in that the mother, being the closest family member at the time of around pregnancy, should have the jurisdiction in that case. But 7 weeks is what I believe the cap should be, legal cap.
Okay. Well, here's my thing, and I tend to agree with you that my definition for what begins and ends a human is brain activity. Now, we both agree that once you're brain dead, you're dead. You ain't coming back. Where we disagree is when it starts. Now, the brain is not formed at 6 weeks. If there is any brain activity at all, it will be on the same level as a chicken. I mean, and unless you want to demand the whole world go vegan and chicken is just as sentient as I am, you don't, that argument doesn't hold a lot of water. Furthermore, yeah, okay, we can get into rape and incest and all that other stuff. But at the end of the day, unless that brain is formed, you're basically telling a woman, you have no rights over your body. We're going to do this whether you like it or not. Now, the sad fact of the matter is the reason abortion was legalized in the first place was the sad fact of the matter that there were back alley abortionists. You had a lot of babies left in dumpsters, a lot of dead moms with coat hangers up their twats. You had a lot of abused, neglected kids. The orphanage system was a disaster. And conservatarians or libertarians or conservatives, whatever you want to call them, also don't really have a pan to pay for all of the new orphans that are going to happen if we get rid of abortion. Now, in the case of life, one of the things that pro-lifers, when they go after me, like to bring up is the I think it's a little boy. He was born without a brain. He's 8. Born without a brain, but the brain stem is enough to keep him alive. But I wouldn't exactly call it alive. For 7 years,
No, I wouldn't use that example.
He is laid on the couch and stared up at the world with the same wide-eyed wonder that a 1-month-old does. That is not alive. And quite frankly, if I would even argue, I would go so far as to say that something that can't even learn its own name or mom and dad, that's not living. That's existing. It exists. But shit. Also, one final note. I would also like to point out that in this society, we get very odd with death. It's acceptable here. It's not acceptable here. It's acceptable over here, not over here. How about the simple fact that, maybe the ghost of Christmas Present was wrong? We, in fact, have too much life on this leaf. It's time to shuffle a little off. All right, that's it. I'll let you have the first one.
All right. So as far as welfare goes, I mean, it doesn't sound very libertarian for me to say, but I would much rather if welfare was increased and abortion was like virtually eliminated out of this country. Like virtually. I mean, obviously you cannot get rid of everything if you decide to ban that said something. But and also, oh yeah, I can't remember what was the second. Jeez, I can't.
Okay.
Sorry.
Let me just counter you right there. The most common people that get abortions are typically very young girls, teenagers, and in their 20s, mid to early 20s. Those are the most common. They are not going to be able to get a job, nor will the man, because yes, dear trannies, it takes a man and a woman to actually make a fucking baby. And your delusions don't change this. But even if the guy stays with her and they marry and they can't afford it.
Oh, now I remember
the only option is for them to go on the state. And if you don't have abortion, you're going to have a lot more of them. I don't want to pay for that. And that's just one scenario. Again, this is why we legalized it.
All right. So I remember what I was wanting to say earlier. I will not use the example of the person who, or if you can call it a person technically, but the one whatever child that is just living off of brainstem and doesn't really have a brain. I do not use that example. In fact, I first heard of that when through you with your hashtag defund Planned Parenthood video, which was my very first response video, by the way. So I'm not going to use that. And as far as welfare goes, I mean, I want to stay focused rather on abortion. I mean, in the ultimate of things, I, like I said earlier, I would rather if welfare was increased than if abortions were increased. And you said that a 7-week conceived fetus has like the equivalent brain activity of that of a chicken, right? The thing is, though, is that in the literal thing, in the literary of things, fetuses aren't chickens. Mothers don't give birth of chickens, and
No,
because of
you
this lack
birth
of
a
brain
human.
right.
Well,
But
no,
if you're going to say
my
that because
point
of
my point is, until that muscle is formed, the brain, you're not a human. Okay? Once the brain is formed, once the brain is developing, there's your cutoff point. You know, once we have brain development and it's in there and it's there, now you're a human. Okay? Before that, you're a meatball. And I hate to take
I,
such hard-lining stances with these things, but you got to pick a side. You got to pick a time. My thought is once that muscle's there, you can't abort. Before that, who gives a shit?
and you think that it's at
Be-
5 months at 20 weeks?
I think the cutoff in the 90s was like 24 weeks, something like that, where the brain was fully formed and it's getting to the point where okay, you're now killing a human being. Okay, we begin and we end with our brains. And again, if you want to talk about brain activity again, then you should also be advocating that we don't eat steak because cows have brains, chickens have brains, pigs have brains. I've eaten pig brain. You know, I mean, and they have brain activity. It's just not ours.
The thing is, though, is that the way it stands is that humans, innocent human beings, have the um, have the right to life, but we don't extend that out to
Innocent
necessarily every
chickens
single
have a
life.
right to
What?
life, but you
Hey,
eat them every fucking morning.
have the right to life? Where? When? I mean,
Why is a chicken any worse than a human? Why is human here, chicken here?
well, chickens. For one thing, they aren't well. Captain Obvious here, not part of our species. They haven't found anything
So,
worth of civilization.
okay,
They
so
aren't. And back on the whole intelligence thing regarding equivalating like a 7-week conceived fetus to the intelligence of a chicken. If we're going to go off of that basis, should a very severely retarded person should a person have, or does a person have the jurisdiction to kill somebody of that might be so retarded that had the mental capacity of a 7-week conceived fetus?
okay, if during the pregnancy they find out that this is uh a person that is never going to grow, never going to get beyond a 1 year old, let's say, once they're born, then in that instance, I maybe would allow a late term abortion.
No, no, I mean like a person who is
Oh, it's already been
already
born.
born.
Okay. In this instance, no. But you're also asking me to make a weird leap in logic here. You know, um, again, you're asking me to kill somebody that's already here, already, been around.
No, I'm not asking. I'm asking, should we be allowed?
Should
I
we
mean,
be allowed?
yeah, if we're going to be allowed to kill a fetus that might have the equivalent mental capacity of a chicken.
Okay, but the person's already been born. It's out. It can survive. Now, unfortunately, I wish it would have been aborted because, great, now I got to pay for this person for the rest of its life. But no, we can't just go around shooting people if that's what you want to get to. But again, the fetus has not yet been born. And again, you eat fetuses all the time. Again, chickens, eggs.
Those are
But
like
but but
unconceived.
again,
It's like
you're
the
a
equivalent. That's the
libertarian.
equivalent.
You're a
That's
libertarian.
the equivalent of eating an. That's the equivalent of a period right there. I mean, the type of eggs that people usually eat is not fertilized.
I've had a lot of little itty bitty white things that were little bitty chickens in my eggs.
Oh, so you ended up having like a fertilized fetuses, or the chicken fetuses accidentally end up in your eggs?
There have been a couple of times, yeah.
Well, isn't there like a health code against that? I mean,
Cage-free farm fresh from the farmer's market. But okay.
I mean, I think that is a bad way to run the agricultural industry, anyways. For you to be like killing off an animal that hasn't even been conceived and set to grow yet.
Okay,
like
but
the full capacity
then
of
you
food.
change on the death penalty. Then life isn't so sacred to you. If somebody has committed a
False
crime,
equivalency.
no, that's not a false equivalent. When does life quit being sacred then?
Like I said, innocent people have the right to life. The thing is, a murderer or rapist or whoever else. I mean, if you want to talk about thieves that accidentally end up with the death penalty, well, then I'd be all against that. But typically, when people are for the death penalty, they're for it for like mass shooters, like Nicholas Cruz, for example, and rapists and so on and so forth, not for people that have not committed a major moral act like that.
There's only one crime that we give the death penalty for, and that's murder. Usually and it's almost always premeditated murder.
Yeah, the thing is, though, is that a fetus hasn't committed murder, though, so it's a bit of a false equivalency. You're killing somebody that has taken a life. You're
still killing.
Yeah.
You're still ending life. I mean, if life is sacred, if life is so fucking sacred, then shouldn't you be against the death penalty? Furthermore, you're a libertarian. You want the government to get the fuck out of people's lives, except when it comes, and I can't believe I'm making this argument because I'm supposed to be the anti-feminist, even though you probably are too, but fuck it. Where do you get off telling a woman she has no right to control what happens to her body? I'm willing to meet you halfway.
Yeah, you can apply that question the same to late terms as well. Where do you get the right to tell a woman what she can or cannot do with her body?
Again, I have the cutoff date, and it's about where the brain develops. About 5 months in, give or take.
The thing is about the whole issue of abortion, the reason why pro-lifers, be it just general liberty lovers, conservatives, libertarians who...
The hell? Where the fuck is he? I didn't knock him off, did I? Okay, hopefully, okay, apparently he left. Hopefully he rejoins. I guess I'll try to keep everyone amused in the interim time. Of course, I have to pee. I got nothing. Shit. Okay, I guess I'll see what's on Yahoo. Just what the hell? Yeah, Ronda Rousey. Yeah, she threw away her MMA career to be at WrestleMania. I've already discussed the beer gut bitch. Discussed the topless Cosby protester. What the hell? I gotta get on Twitter, see if he can try to. Dude, you're off. You there? You there? I gotta get on
Twitter. Yes, I'm here. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry about that. I couldn't. Was you like okay, my camera. You know what? Fuck it. I guess it's gonna cause a whole bunch of problems. I will take off the gloves and sunglasses and whatnot, and we can just go with regular our regular profile pics.
All right, hold on.
My bad about that.
There we are. No problem.
Okay.
All right. You were yapping about. Actually, I don't remember. Because I thought you had just left. I was gonna scramble and try to salvage something.
All right. So no problem. Anyway, well, like I was trying to say, I do not know if the stream caught on about that. And so I said the reason why general liberty lovers, conservatives and libertarians are so strong on this issue is because they believe in the right to life. And you know what? That goes for everybody in the modern Western world practically, except for psychopaths that go on serial murders and so on and so forth. But because of the right to life, that is why that we believe that abortion, as a general rule, should not be allowed. The question then, I mean, you believe in the right to life for late-term fetuses, and what we believe is that fetuses' right to life should not be overruled by the mother's bodily autonomy. Because again, the fetus has not committed anything wrong. They haven't contributed in any way to invade in on the mother's bodily autonomy. They haven't committed any act at all. So
they're not human yet. They're a parasite.
The question is then, at what point do you consider them human? And again, for you, that's 20 weeks.
I would say about 24. I want a nice, fully formed brain.
Okay, well, you said
24 weeks, fine, fuck it. At least, here's the thing. You guys, you just said you want like an 8-week limit. 8 or 9.
Yeah, when
the woman probably doesn't even know she's fucking pregnant. So again, you have just overruled her freedom to choose because she dare get pregnant. And again, a lot of these girls are going to be teenagers. A lot of these girls are going to be in their 20s because, again, you're young and dumb. You do stupid things. You don't think. What in the hell is your guys' response going to be to, again, a shit ton more babies being born, a shit ton more unwanted babies being born, being left on the doorsteps of hospitals and fire houses, a shit ton of young girls found dead in alleyways with coat hangers up their twats, or due to dirty back alley abortionists. Because here's the thing, you outlaw something, you actually don't stop it. The sad fact of the matter is, every time the United States has tried to ban a behavior, it has failed miserably. We have banned murder, and it still fucking happens. Furthermore, your solutions suck. The adoption option is a fucking joke. It's a I am getting to the point of just calling it a fucking lie.
Can I talk now?
Yeah, go for it. Sorry, I went on a tangent, but
so the point is not to completely eliminate abortions, because obviously they are still going to happen. The idea is to try and decrease them overall. And you always mentioned what?
How do you do that outside of some religious morality argument that says sex is something that's sacred? It's not.
Dude, I haven't been playing the religion card, and I told you that I wasn't going to play it.
Sex creates babies. In my worldview, sex is something fun. If you create a baby, go to the clinic, get rid of it, and everything's cool.
Again, it's the right to life. That is the metric that I am going off of. And you repeatedly mentioned coat hangers. Like, where are you getting the statistic that coat hanger abortions and mothers will die, mothers dying
Because
from?
that's what happened before Roe v. Wade was legalized. You would have women dead in high school bathrooms, in alleyways, with coat hanger abortions.
What I have researched is that it was like around 300 a year.
So their 300 lives are worthless and meaningless because they dared abort your precious fetus.
And over 1 million fetuses are worthless. Like, compare 300 to 1 million. Like
300 people with a functioning brain, a life, and a consciousness versus 300 meatballs that don't have any of those things. Yes, I'll take the 300.
Well, and they're not all meatballs. I mean, again, I'm not saying
you're not also counting babies in dumpsters, babies abandoned, abused babies. Oh, by the way, child abuse will start skyrocketing. Again, this is why it was legalized. To stop all this shit. To maybe state that, hey, we shouldn't be overrun with kids nobody fucking wants.
Considering of how that coat hanger abortions I don't know the proper way to term it, but women dying from coat hanger abortions or just coat hanger abortions in general was like statistically practically non-existent before Roe v. Wade. I am unconvinced that they would skyrocket if it was illegal again.
And you'd also have another thing of doctors losing their licenses because they performed abortions. That was also a reality. They're doctors losing their licenses because they performed an abortion.
Well, the acceptable abortions would be before, so whatever is before 7 weeks.
Yeah, before she knows she's pregnant. You basically want to keep it legal.
Wait, what?
Before 7 weeks, she doesn't know. She maybe will know she's pregnant.
They don't take piss tests when they start feeling themselves getting moody before 7 weeks. Like I don't get the point here.
You don't get. Do you know any? Okay. They don't know they're pregnant that soon. Okay? Because women get pregnant far more often than people think. And most of them, even during the 7-week part, are just flushed out of their bodies. Normally.
Trying to research of how early women usually test for if they're pregnant or not, because I'm finding this virtually it's mind-boggling. Like 2 months being pregnant, and not at one point within that in 2 months she doesn't notice a difference in her own health and doesn't do a urinal test. I don't get it.
All she's got to do is be on a form of birth control that literally states, and there's more than one, may cause you to miss your period. Okay? And all she's got to do is blow off a pregnancy test, and according to your rules, she's pregnant. Also, what are your thoughts on birth control pills, the morning after pill? Again,
the morning after pill, it works for before fertilization. Much less.
No, the morning after pill
much less does it work at 7 weeks.
The morning after pill can be an abortion pill.
So what I've generally heard is that it was before conception.
Nope. I mean, they have sex, they take it, and they flush that fucking fertilized egg out. So we've just killed life. They take it and they flush whatever's in there out. That's the morning after pill.
Okay, but even if I was to like give you the benefit of the doubt on like say, oh, the first hour of it being fertilized, they flush it out and so on and so forth. My metric again is 7 weeks. That's my the cap that I am.
And my point is, you might at that point, with that little of a time frame, you might as well just outlaw abortion. Nobody knows at that point. You are also aware that women's periods while some of them do show up regularly, others do not. They can vary widely. And 7 weeks is an acceptable time frame.
Okay. So there's a little highlight right here that in my research. This from earlypregnancytests.com. That is literally a website. The most sensitive pregnancy tests can detect HCG levels that as low as 20 MIU. This level of HCG is present in the urine of pregnant women at about 7 to 10 days past ovulation.
Okay.
This is pretty early. So
assume a woman doesn't know she's ovulating. Let's say she's got an easy period. She has unprotected sex, gets pregnant. She's not thinking about it. Seriously, she's not thinking about it.
And
it's 7 weeks, for Christ's sakes. You barely even formed into a meatball.
Formed into enough of a supposed meatball to have a little bit of brain activity.
Yeah, again, so do chickens. So unless you want to argue the world should go vegan, everything you eat
honestly
has a little brain activity.
Honestly, I think I would. Damn it. Honestly, I think I would, for the record, rather go vegan than go pro-choice. Just my own personal.
Okay.
And
so
my own dichotomy.
Let me ask you a question then. Okay.
But I care about humans, not animals.
Let's say
generally all humanity.
And I care about death, not life.
You care about death, not life?
Yeah, I'm pro-death.
So you go on serial killings as a part-time job?
No. I'm just saying that when it comes to the life-death equation, I am pro-abortion, I'm pro-death penalty, I'm pro-euthanasia, and I'm pro if somebody is actually can convince me their life isn't worth living, let them jump off the fucking bridge.
No, when it comes
I'm at least consistent with my death arguments. You're fine. I don't know your euthanasia argument. You're fine with the death penalty, but you got an issue with abortion. Now, here's the thing. Again, you also seem to have this weird thing with human life is sacred, animal life is not. I'm saying all life is just that. It's life. And the sad fact of the matter is, at the end of the day, it ends. No matter what we do, we are all going to die. What the hell does it matter? And furthermore, again, you seem to not give a shit about the woman who might be 15 years old, finds out she's pregnant, maybe in this instance, doesn't even know she's fucking ovulating.
Yeah. I don't give a shit.
Okay, what about a woman who has sex for the first time but doesn't know she can actually produce a child? That does happen.
Okay, if there is like big time risks, health risks, like injuring health risks for a woman who is not an adult yet, like this would fall under life of mother as well. I mean, I do not know of how old that a woman can survive to give birth, honestly, but that would fall under life of mother, I would think, as well.
Okay, and what about, again, you have presented, what is your plan to care for all of them? Because we're going to have a lot of unwanted kids.
Well, donate to support them. I mean, that's what I do. I mean, there's this one organization called Kansas Coalition for Life. Yes, they do activism against abortion, but they also provide financial support for mothers so that they can support their own child. And if you're going to mention welfare again, yes, again, I would rather welfare get increased than abortion get increased.
Okay, fine. I would rather have aborted fetuses, and I'll make a soup out of them, because I don't want my taxes going up, which is what will happen. That will happen. If you outlaw abortion, we are going to have a whole shit ton of kids that have been raised by the state, no love. We're going to have a bunch of fucking probably sociopaths. And, you know, because the orphanage produced such wonderful people as Albert Fish. And again, raised with no love, probably don't give a shit. At best, they might be apathetic. So you're going to have to increase taxes because not enough people give to charity. You know, you give to charity, great. I think that's wonderful.
Again, you're. It's almost like you're ignoring the point of I would rather increase welfare than increase abortions. When you say you would have to increase taxes, I realize that.
You have to increase taxes, which is me being forced at the point of a gun to pay for something that I don't give a shit about.
You're not an anarchist, are you?
No, not by any stretch of the imagination.
Well, I don't see how that's a point then. I mean, if I was an anarcho-capitalist myself, I would realize that, yes, I would have to give up completely on my beliefs, or at least my legal beliefs when it comes to abortion. I would have to, like, privately fund some foster home or something with my own money to try and incentivize these women to not abort their child. Instead, take them in that privately owned foster home.
But with the amount of foster homes that we're going to need, remember, we're also a country of 330 million people, and about 150 million of them are women, if not more, and about 100 million of these women are of childbearing age. We're going to have a lot more. Our taxes are going to go through the roof. And again, I'm going to keep hammering this point till you want to answer it. Why is it?
Not 150 million women. Not 150 million women get pregnant per year.
Oh my God.
Well, I don't see why you mentioned that high up of a number. Like,
okay, condoms break, birth control fails. We have 100% solution for birth control, and it's called a goddamn abortion.
Yeah, for 7 weeks. Like I think that a woman would be able to notice that that's enough time. What? They don't fucking know that?
You honestly think that the birth control just stops birth, doesn't stop a period? That's why women that even don't have sex are on it.
What?
You are aware of that.
Reiterate that again. Sorry.
The birth control pill, okay? At least several varieties of it. Now, there's a multitude of varieties of it. But several of the most popular actually reduce and in some cases, in more extreme cases, almost eliminate periods. Okay? So if a woman gets a little itty-bitty shitty period, she might not think of it. And according to you, by the time she might know something's up, she's fucked. 7 weeks is not enough time.
Wait, 7 weeks is not enough time to get an abortion? Sorry, I'm here.
When do you think you start to show anyway?
I just read the source right there that said it could happen as early as 10 days after ovulation.
What source is that?
I just said it on the stream. It was called okay. I think it was morning after pill that I was researching. Hold on.
That's not birth control.
Does the morning after pill? No, it's not what I was researching. How early do women test for pregnancy? How's this? How about
we establish
okay, 7 to 10 days. That was how early that they can test on pregnancy tests.
Hey,
calm down. Can I finish my point? Calm the fuck down. Like I know that you have this whole persona of yelling and shouting all the time, but geez. And the source is called Early Pregnancy Tests, as you were asking me to cite it just a few minutes ago.
Okay. Now, I'm sorry I yelled. I'm sorry I lost my temper. But they can test for pregnancy. Again, all it takes is for a woman to have drunken sex with her boyfriend, not kind of remember it or not really care about it. And now, under you, by the time she knows she's pregnant, she's got a baby that she doesn't want, she can't afford, and now all of us have to pay for.
Okay, the reason why I was mentioning the whole test pregnancy thing is I think I recall you at one point during this stream mentioning some point about how the woman will not even know that she is pregnant. And so I was trying to research of how early do women normally test it. It was saying of how early they're able
when
to.
When they notice their periods are about 2 months late, which is 8 weeks. Okay?
When they notice it.
Again, you're dealing with this world where like women keep rigid schedules of shit. Honestly, and let's be honest. Do you think a fetus's rights trump a woman's? You know, honestly, serious question. Did he just leave again? I think he's still here. You still here, dude? Shit, I can't hear you.
Is experiencing difficulties.
All right, we everybody, at least probably on my end, missed that what you just said.
I'm not constantly losing my internet connection. I mean, if you could hear me.
I'm not losing mine either, dude.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Anyway, I mean, I thought that was kind of a generally known fact is that the morning after pill doesn't work on already fertilized eggs. I mean, apparently it's a little bit more controversial than that. I mean, you say that it does work on fertilized eggs. Is that what you said earlier?
I said it would just, at least as far as I know, and I could be wrong. Damn it. That it works. Basically, it induces a period, and women can have periods with a fertilized egg, and it gets just flushed on out. It can also get flushed on out the next period. You know, it can stay in the fallopian tubes for a little bit. It does have to make its way down to the uterus eventually, or it'll die. You know, your time frame is ludicrous. And again, I do not get where you get off calling yourself a libertarian, but
I just
somehow. Well, I'm sorry, but I'm not accepting this leap in logic where you can tell a woman that she has no right to her bodily autonomy because there's a 12-week-old meatball in there.
I don't. It's not shaped like a meatball. Like I've seen footage at least at 12 weeks. Doesn't look like a meatball to me.
It does to me. It's a meatball.
Well, you must have some very weird ass meatballs in your spaghetti then.
Okay. Well, it has no legs, has no arms, has no eyes, has nothing, and can't survive outside of its mom's womb. It's a meatball. If I were to rip it out, it would be thrown in a pot of marinara sauce.
Oh fuck! Let me try and find the footage because I downloaded this a while ago. Like the footage was literally of 12 weeks, 12 weeks conceived, and it was squirming around with a set of developed arms and legs and a moving head and so on and so forth.
Yeah, in the mom's womb.
What you said what you said there about it not having arms and legs was false. About 12 weeks, anyways.
Still a meatball, doesn't have a brain.
It's
again, if we want to get on this thing,
brain waves, man.
Oh my god! Fine, then you're a fucking murderer for eating chicken. It's just you don't give a shit about chickens' lives. So again, if you want to keep this argument up, then you've got to say that me killing a deer is murder.
Definition of murder applies to humans.
That's convenient. So deer's lives aren't sacred, humans' lives are.
Well, I mean, take a look of how it's like accepted right now in
Oh my
society, and
God. Again,
is
you're
that
making a
humans, and
morality
that
argument.
is morality argument.
You're making a morality argument. Right now,
What's it?
you're saying you don't give a shit if humans
Okay,
wipe out life on a grand scale, and we do every day because I like eating chicken and bacon, but
so
you throw a hissy fit if a 14-year-old girl walks into an abortion clinic and gets an abortion.
yeah, says the guy constantly
Because
throwing his
because you seem to think that you fucking uh have this grand goal of like I don't know. Well, I got news for you. Here's the reality. At
So
best,
what's generally accepted is that, I mean, if you want to argue about morality being subjective and whatnot, like I hear those debates, subjective versus objective, but what is the rule right now? I mean, the way that the Western modern society looks at it now is that innocent lives, people who have not committed murder and rape at least, I mean, death penalty, that's a little bit more controversial, but innocent lives have the right to life. That, I mean, if you want to argue that somewhere on down the line that'll change, well then fine, we
okay.
can argue about that. But as it
How's
stands
this?
right now, people have the right to life, and I just want to
How's this?
have the law like protect all innocent lives and
Okay.
not just people who are in a
I'll end
different
the
physical
debate.
position.
I'll end the debate. Before 24 weeks, you don't have life.
Before 24 weeks, you don't have life.
Yeah, because we have to come to a consensus when life ends. And there's a lot of people that would argue that
When brain
Tariq
death is
Rashad
detected,
has life.
what?
Well, there's a lot of people that would argue Tariq Rashad has life. Now, she is a young black girl, and she's been brain dead for 3 years, but her mom insists that she's alive. And there's a lot of people on her side that would say she's alive. When
And I would
what the
agree with
fuck is
you
her
that
name?
I agree with you that that's not alive. I mean, they can
There's a lot of
struggle.
people on your side in the abortion argument that would say that she's alive. Terry Schiavo, when
I don't
she
know.
died,
Just give
every
the benefit of the
fucking
doubt on that.
anti-abortion person held a candle and was praying for her to stay alive. You can't have it both ways.
Well, I'm just going to give you the
Personally,
benefit of the doubt on that. But the metric that I
well, Jeb
worked
Bush
off
was
of it.
there.
What?
Jeb Bush was there. He couldn't stop it. But Jeb Bush was there, and he was saying she was alive. And he's one of the biggest
I
anti-abortion
don't.
activists on the planet.
Well, honestly, I don't know why you keep on continuing on this tangent. I mean, I'm giving you the
Well,
benefit of the doubt on that she is not alive. At
okay,
least not
but
technically.
I do not, but you're saying something that doesn't have a fucking functional brain is alive. You want to say a 8-week-old fetus
Here's the
that
thing.
doesn't have bone structure yet is alive?
Here's the thing, though. I mean, you want to go off a functional brain, like say just a fresh newborn, like first day.
Okay.
Cannot keep a good memory and cannot have like barely a coherent thought. I mean, maybe like a few months on down the line, it starts to develop more and more. But I would say that if you want to go off of that metric, I would say that is like a barely functional brain. It's just getting started off in the world. I
Yeah,
mean, and
but
the
it
same could be
is
said
a
about
fully formed
late term
brain.
fetuses.
It's a fully formed brain.
The brain doesn't stop forming until 25 years old,
Oh
is
my
what I hear. Like
god.
that's when it's fully formed.
The muscle is there. That's where my cutoff is. Once that muscle gets fully formed, again, my cutoff is, I guess, 24 weeks. That's when the muscle's there. That's when the brain's there. The skull's there. Everything's there. And we don't even have a viable embryo yet. I haven't even brought it to that point. I'm still about 3 weeks away, actually, from, I think, the record.
Okay, if you want to go off of how that an unborn fetus, for example, cannot at some certain point, like before 20 weeks, 24 weeks, whatever is the earliest that they can survive being early birth. If you want to go off of the metric that they cannot survive without the natural life support of their own mother's womb, well, that to me seems like a very, very bad metric, because there are people who end up in the hospital who end up reliant on a pacer and a breathalyzer and so on and so forth. That does not make them less viable to the right to life than the fully healthy 25-year-old.
You're talking about a vital organ you need to live, and quite frankly, the thing that begins and ends us. Versus a lung not being fully formed. And Lord knows I should know. I came and my lungs weren't fully formed, but my brain was.
Wait, when somebody is on a breathalyzer or pacer, it's fully functioning. I mean, I would think that if an organ was fully functioning, that they would not need any artificial backup or support.
Well, some organs aren't quite as important as others. That's why you can get your appendix removed, a kidney removed, part of your lung removed, or well, actually, yeah, part of your lung removed, part of your liver removed. Again,
stay focused on what is fully essential for life, like breathalyzers and pacers for the heart and lung and so on and so forth.
Your fucking brain. If it is materialized, you're alive.
Okay, well, I was just trying to respond to the point that you mentioned earlier about how, or at least insinuating of how fetuses at some certain points within the cutoff date, or my preferred cutoff date, aren't able to survive outside the womb. That was the point that I was trying to attack. I mean, wasn't
okay? Well, let's be honest. No, okay. Here's my cutoff date. So when the brain is fully formed, that's about 2 to 4 weeks before the absolute cutoff date, before lungs. The lungs are one of the last things to develop, and you kind of need those to live.
One of the last thing. I mean, I thought that was like I thought the fingerprints developed after lungs for some reason.
Who gives a shit about fingerprints?
Well,
seriously, we're going to start having repeats.
It's just a little bit of a incorrect thing.
Oh my god. Well, I'm sorry. Do you need your fingerprints
arguing
to survive?
on technicality. Arguing on technicalities. Whatever. Sorry.
You know, again, you also, in this whole debate that we've been having for the last hour and a half, or hour actually,
yeah,
you seem to think, in your video to me, I actually watched it, and you seem to think that these charities are going to ride in on a white horse, and we're going to set up all these great orphanages, and these, well, actually, they would just be great orphanages.
It isn't
the adoption option is a fucking line. You're not going to get this. You're going to get a bunch of bullshit state-run orphanages that are going to produce, at best, citizens that don't give a shit. At worst, an army of sociopaths.
As far as okay, I mean, I do not know what the statistic would be on that, like a ratio for how many.
We had it before, and it produced such wonderful people as Albert Fish, along with a host of other serial killers. Now, yes,
statistical ratio on that.
I don't know it off the top of my head, but if I had to guess, because of all the serial killers that came out of orphanages at the time, they might be slightly higher than the normal population. Again, I have nothing to back that up, just from my research on serial killers. A lot of them in the early part of the 20th century came out of orphanages because we didn't have abortions. And these were some real sadistic motherfuckers, by the way, too.
Okay. Wait. Okay, never mind. That's talking about China's orphanages. I'm trying to look for that statistic, and it's mostly talking about anecdotes, like 22 serial killers who were adopted, and so on and so forth. Yeah, that's kind of.
Also, the adoption option is kind of drained away too since that time. Yeah, back in that day, if a couple couldn't get pregnant through normal, natural means, they adopted a child. These days, if the man's balls can produce at least one sperm and the woman's vagina can produce at least one egg, and her uterus can hold that motherfucker for at least a little bit, they can have a child. And even if her uterus can hold it and she still has a viable egg, they can put that shit in another woman's uterus and they get a child. Adoption is, it's a pipe dream. I mean, that is horseshit.
And say if, for example, that most of the children, if children don't get adopted,
Okay.
like, I don't think that the mother should just determine the best for their child by saying, "Oh no, you should just die." I mean, sorry, I don't mean to be pulling an appeal to emotion right there, but that's basically what it is.
Fine, fuck it. I'll just go to the evil one. I don't want to pay for it, so fuck it. Make the decision. Get rid of it.
Okay, whatever. I mean, I hang around a whole bunch of dark motherfuckers when it comes to a sense of humor, so I don't really care. But anyway.
Seem to have been fighting me on this for an hour.
What?
Said you've been fighting me on this for an hour. And that is, but here's the thing. That ties into what you want to do.
Humor.
No, you're debating me on abortion, but you're going to have a bunch of orphanages with a bunch of unloved, unwanted kids. Okay. This is the reality that is going to fucking happen.
Sorry, I went off on a little bit of a tangent, but about unwanted persons.
Okay.
I don't think that just immediately right off the bat, just because they don't want their own child, that the mother should just say
no. I'm talking about the rash of teenagers that go to the abortion clinic every fucking day because they fucked their boyfriend. They don't want their parents to know about it, and they just go to the clinic and it's gone.
What the? I'm talking about foster homes here right now, not abortion clinics and teenagers who behind our back. Like, all right. I'm talking about for if successfully the mother is prevented from or ultimately decides not to abort by her own choice, either case, and she just puts the child up for adoption. But I don't think that the mother that it's a. Oh man. Sorry. This is
actually, if you don't mind, I could jump in with the foster home care situation too. Our foster care situation is fucked in this country.
Yeah, and I think that
quite frankly, there's not enough homes. There's not enough good homes for the kids right now.
And as I was trying to get onto, I don't think that we should take the matter into our own hands, but leave it into their own hands to try and succeed at life. Because I know this is going to be anecdotal territory, but I know a couple people, and I know of a person, Steve Jobs, who were able to thrive in life despite having like barely any to absolutely no parental icons. But they don't wish that they could die. I mean, Steve Jobs certainly didn't. I mean, he turned out to be a billionaire, and the two what?
I said yet he did. He died.
He died, but I don't. Did he want to die? I mean, did he want to die because of the fact that he was unwanted?
For Christ's sakes!
Ultimately, he did not commit suicide because of that.
Death
and
comes for us all. Again. Look, I gotta go take a piss. I'll be back.
Okay. Anyway, so it's just here by myself. I guess I'll look at the chat. There's the worst. I do not know if this guy is like a just a troll or whatever. I mean, he keeps on referring to War Corpse as Whore Corpse, but at the same time, I took a brief look at his channel, and he seems to have anti-SJW videos. I on Dave's side. Sorry, Zach, Dark Conservatarian. It says Mr. Insanity in the chat. But you told me before that you yourself are for capping it at 7 weeks. Have you like changed your mind or something, Insanity? There's the word says Dark Conservatarian seems to have very low brain activity himself, and yet I'm holding my own in this debate. The abortion debate to me is dead. In any event, pro-life makes no sense to me. Brian Hicks. A lot of people would think that just because of Roe v. Wade. A lot of people are saying that the connection is going bad, and it was.
You know, the sad fact of the matter is I thought maybe one of the points of contention was going to be actually rape. We haven't even touched on it, but here's the thing. I find it odd that a libertarian is at odds with freedom. I mean, you say you respect the right to life. You respect the right to life and freedom. Okay, but the right to life doesn't extend to anything that isn't human. You also respect the right to life and freedom to any fellow human being, except if it's a woman that wants to exercise her freedom to not be a mom.
She still gets to live. Like, I don't see how this comes into play regarding person's right to life.
Unless you want to fucking either raise my taxes or force a bunch of people to be foster parents, again, we're going to have a massive problem. Again, abortion solves more problems than it creates. You just don't like it because you have a fucking fixation with a fetus. And you even deny the right to life to people that have been committed or convicted of certain crimes.
Yeah.
Furthermore, okay, let's say somebody is dying. They're fucked. We can't fix them. Do we get to euthanize them?
We get to euthanize them. We can't fix them. Like, how long do they get to
Let's say, well, how about I go in increasing intervals? Let's find your cutoff point for that. 1 month.
Actually,
30 days. I got
actually okay. No. I'll say no, because in the
1 month.
No.
Okay.
I mean, if they want to like try and live the rest of their 30 days to try and make good with their family and say their goodbyes, get their bucket list out of the way, well, then I don't think that a fellow human being has a
right to take that away. You are also aware that within that 30 days, they're probably going to be brought to blinding, excruciating, torturous pain.
And I say if they themselves want to die, well, then definitely. I don't know. I'm not completely against. Oh, I was about to say assisted suicide, but no, I'm just going to say it outright. Suicide allowed. No one has the right to take your own life except for yourself. That's the way that I look at it.
So suicide's fine. Abortion, no.
Yeah, because
I
that's
don't
one
get this.
person
I don't get
killing.
this argument.
That's one person killing another person. One
That's
person
one
killing.
person
One
exercising.
person.
They don't
One person.
have
Hey,
a
can
fucking.
I finish my
Go
point?
ahead.
That's one person taking another person's right to life. But in the case of suicide, that's nobody. That's no second or third party taking away a person's right to life. That's just a person taking their own life.
And in the case of pregnancy, that is one person exercising their right not to have a very traumatic experience done to their body, done in a timely fashion. Okay? Birth is not easy for women. What the fuck do you think? It's just something they lift their leg up and let out a fart?
I know. This is. It is a bit of a. It is.
Most
This
of the
whole
women
debate is a moral dilemma. A moral dilemma. But
it's not on my end.
My belief again is that I don't think that bodily autonomy overrules another innocent person's right to life.
Well, I got news for you. Your bodily autonomy overrode the chicken you ate last night. Again,
we're talking about human
no, we're
life
talking
here,
about.
guy.
I do not make that distinction. I do not say human life is any more important or valuable to me than, except in maybe very rare circumstances, than a life of a chicken. I eat chicken. I got no problem with abortions. You know, either life is sacred or it's not. And the ultimate irony is life isn't sacred at all. It ends. The greatest joke ever played on us was giving us consciousness of our own mortality.
If you want to try and argue, like, I don't mean a straw man, but if you or anyone else wants to try and argue that life is not sacred, well then fine, we can like live in a total, utter anarchy where nobody believes in the right to life. But that is not how it stands right now.
I didn't advocate that.
What?
I didn't advocate that.
Okay, yeah, I mean.
But I'd like for
not you then, but anybody in general. If anybody in general wants to say that life is, but you do believe in the right to life for innocent human beings who haven't committed a crime, right?
Right. Again, if they're after a certain time period, about 26 weeks, or maybe we can work on that. Somewhere between 22, 26 weeks. Yes, I would.
You do believe. You do.
Once the fucking brain is formed, then you've waited too long and you've had long enough. Piss off. You know.
And
again,
I say
you're also fine with the death penalty. You went on this whole tirade, but you're
fine with what you kind of cut off
penalty. Huh? I said you're also fine with the death penalty.
Jeez. I don't see how.
Sorry, but these two things are actually diametrically opposed. You can't.
I don't see how you're holding on so tight over this false moral equivalency.
Why are you holding so tight to the idea that this fetus is this sacred, innocent life that must be protected at all costs? Meanwhile, this guy did X, so his life is forfeit. Either life is sacred or it's not.
Apparently, that person did not. That person did not think that life was sacred, and I do not know if that.
But we are supposed to be better than that person. We are supposed to be better than him. We are supposed to say we are better than you, so we will kill you in a humane fashion. Okay.
Wait. What? What?
I said.
You said. It sounded like that you said that we're supposed to be better than them, so we will kill them.
Yeah, that's the death penalty. We're going to kill them, but we're going to do it in a humane, painless fashion.
Okay, yeah, fine. I mean, make it painless for all I care.
Okay, but we have also,
I don't know what the point was
with this, we have said this again. I find this odd that you value this fetus that doesn't even have a fucking brain yet. so much, and yet this is a actual
Brainwaves,
human
dude.
being, and you're just fine with me saying fuck it as long as we do it humanely. Now, again, if it was up to me, depending on the crime, I would tie him to a post and set him on fire.
So when brainwaves are detected, that is not a sign of a brain.
Again, there's a difference between life and existence. Further, if you want to just go with simple brain waves, and we've been dancing around this the entire debate. There are brain waves detected in chickens, dolphins, cows, moose, bulls, fucking male cows, buffalo. Again.
Look, I believe in the right to
You kind of get out there. Shit. I lost him there.
Is able to enter the same level of civilization and intelligence as us, as an overall, anyways, because obviously there will be a few exceptions to the rule, like you'll have some retarded creatures of a certain species, but I believe in the self-preservation of humanity, and I believe that the right to life is essential for that.
Well, I would like to counter by saying, in fact, we have too much human life on this earth, and it's time we start embracing a little bit of maybe pro-death.
So a person can kill a homeless person?
No, can't murder him. But if somebody wants to die with dignity and they get a diagnosis, they have an uncurable degenerative condition that will take 5 years to kill them, that person has the right to say 2 weeks after the diagnosis, let's put a little time stamp on it. 2 weeks after the diagnosis, they say, you know what? I want to go out. I got no problem with that. Somebody that says,
I don't either. I'm not disagreeing with suicide.
Somebody says, you know what? I'm just done with life. I don't got that big of a problem either.
I don't agree. I don't disagree with suicide. And
I also don't disagree with a woman, girl, and most likely it's going to be a girl, saying, I can't care for the baby that I am now carrying inside of me. Please, before it is a human, take it out of me.
I say that when brainwaves are detected is when they're human.
I would say when the brain's fully formed. Again, if you're going to go with the brainwave argument, you're a murderer for eating chicken.
Oh, dude, we're constantly running in circles. I tried
well,
to.
You keep constantly making this ridiculous fucking argument.
I keep.
What do you want me to respond to? I mean, what? Like, at that point, at 7 weeks, their skull isn't fucking formed.
I've addressed to you the whole veganism thing and how I stand and society currently stands. Like society, how the way that society at least currently stands is that humans, not animals in civilization, have the right to life. I mean, yes, to a certain extent, you're not allowed to kill somebody else's dog or cat, but technically that falls under the person's private property, and if you kill them, you're committing a crime by invading on their own private property.
You're wrong. I'm going to assume you've never hunted before, have you?
Actually, no.
Okay.
Sorry to disappoint.
there are a few animals that don't have a season, have no limits, and these animals are considered pests because they're very good at surviving. However, in again, I just want to speak from my state. I don't know the laws and regulations in other states. I'll just speak for Minnesota. In Minnesota, you are allowed to kill one deer for the year. For moose, it is one shot. And what I mean by that is you get one hunt once in your life. You have one shot to kill a moose.
But that one prey did not have a right to life, and so therefore you're not going to jail for it.
So you're against hunting?
No, that's not what I said.
You said that one prey did not have a right to life, so therefore you're going to jail for it.
No, I said, and so you're not going to jail. You're not going to jail for it.
Okay, you said that, we can just kill animals willy-nilly. Well, no, of course we can't.
Maybe
we have restrictions in place.
The reason
same as I want to put on an abortion. Mine are just reasonable.
The reason why, at least to my understanding, as to why people have these laws around animals is because, one, either they're house pets, either we want to preserve the species long enough so that we can continue hunting them like deers and so on and so forth, or C, because we have some material value to them just because we like to look at them. And not because technically they have the same inalienable right to life as a human being does, as an innocent human being does. That's my understanding as to why we legislate on that, not because of veganism.
Okay. Again, we have laws legislating when a woman can and can't get an abortion. I would say it ends with brain development. And again, I want that physical muscle there. Again, I would just say 24 weeks is a good cutoff.
24 weeks is...
Fine, fuck it. How's this? I'll tell you what. I'll give you a little bit. 20 weeks is a good cutoff. Actually, no. Once that little brain muscle's formed, then you can. Then it's a human.
Brain muscle. Are you saying brain muscle as in you're calling the brain a muscle, or
oh my god! Once that fucking thing is formed, okay, or maybe
okay, calm down. Like I'm sorry, I'm not very fully well versed on the bodily anatomy. I mean, I thought you was referring to like some special muscle that's inside the brain, or if you're just calling the brain a type of muscle. Which I wouldn't agree with that line of thinking of calling the brain a type of a muscle, but
it is.
Yeah, and yeah.
What the fuck else is it?
No, I just wanted to clarify on your terminology. That was all. I did not know if there was a...
Once the brain is in the skull, it has flesh, it's there, and that's at about, I think, 24 weeks. Yeah, she's fucked. I could maybe even scale it back to 23, 22, maybe 21. But yeah, I've given her, we can quibble over 24 or 21. Before that fucking thing doesn't have a brain. Who gives a shit?
Has a bit of one for when we can start detecting brain waves.
Again, you make this argument.
I mean, you're arguing that the brain needs
a chicken has a bit of human brain in it. Everything does.
A chicken has a bit of human brain in it. If I was to take a scalpel on a chicken brain and I gun it through a DNA testing, I'm going to detect human DNA.
Not human DNA, but you're going to you're going to detect base patterns.
I don't see why you call a chicken is a human brain. Then,
oh my God,
like I said earlier,
you are going to detect base patterns, okay? And yeah, they're going to be the same for a chicken as a human. Not many, but there's going to be a few. Again, this argument you've hinged on it.
I don't
Again,
know.
either life is sacred or it's not. I don't think it is. Why? Life ends.
Human life is sacred, as the majority of the super majority of modern Western society thinks, and even some parts of Eastern society.
It's done a great job of killing fellow humans for almost the entirety of its existence.
I said the super majority. I'm not talking about like people in power who are all like, we must kill the civilian.
U.S., UK, France, Germany, all of them.
What?
They've done a very good job of killing human life in the last, I don't know, 60 years. Ever since World War II. World War II was a crowning achievement.
Well, oh man, I don't see how that equivalates to how automatically the supermajority of society does not believe in a right to life for in particular its own citizens for each appropriate country. Like when it comes okay, now we're going to get off into the tangent of talking about war. When it comes to war, I am not for citizens just randomly dying left and right, and the majority of people would say so as well. The only
they're not citizens. They don't have brains yet.
What?
They're not citizens. They don't have brain yet. So your abortion argument is valid. You just went out on this tangent about how Western civilizations wouldn't be for the mass murder of their own citizens. And I'm saying these citizens are not citizens yet because they don't have a fucking brain. Okay?
You're ignoring the brain waves again.
No, I'm not. Again, if you want to bring up that argument, every living animal on this goddamn planet has it.
Not human brains.
Oh my God, really? Okay. A chimpanzee and a human brainwaves are about 99% identical. So if we kill a chimpanzee, is that murder?
As far as it stands right now, I don't think it is. But at the same time, chimpanzees
of course it's not, because it's not fucking human.
Haven't reached the same level. The same level. I mean, they have some sentience as.
You are also.
They haven't reached the same level of, like, say, civilization, culture, and so on and so forth as humans as an overall species has.
You are also aware that we have stuck electrodes into dead human carcasses' brains and have gotten the simple electric function going again through artificial means. Are they human?
I do not know the whole extent on that research, so I'm not able to speak on that. Are they human? Well, if you want to go off of a technicality, you could say that a little piece of human DNA, or that a human arm cut off is human, but it's not a human individual. As far as artificially, like, jumping a brain or whatever it is that you're talking about.
Oh, they didn't jump it. They just got it to start firing again a little bit.
If they're able to,
very little, by the way.
If they never, okay. this is like I don't know. It's a new subject. At least to me it is. I mean, if you're able to like fully revive a person, well then at that point I would say that they are their own human individual then. But if you're unable to fully revive them, then no.
Okay. But we can't just take a fetus from a woman's belly at your timeline of 9 weeks, put the fetus in a fucking tube, and grow that motherfucker. Okay, I'm sorry,
about
but
artificially growing the fetus.
Okay, but you're a libertarian. You want the rights of the individual to. Again, I'm sorry.
I guess
I'm
if
more of a libertarian than you because I'm saying the rights of the woman not to want to carry that fucking little parasite in her. Her rights trump that thing's.
and I'm a libertarian because I think all innocent individuals deserve the right to life.
I love how you have this thing with innocence so you can keep your stance on the death penalty. Because then his life isn't worth jack.
As soon as he got into the perverted mindset that I want to destroy other human lives, completely kill them off.
I hate to say this. I'm the only consistent person here. I like abortion. I like the death penalty. I like euthanasia. I like them all.
The only consistent person here. You're a real nice guy, Corpse. Really are. And I think that this debate is starting to get circular. I mean, you keep on pulling the false equivalency of equating the death penalty to the same thing as abortion.
You're one to talk about circular logic here. We've circled around with you a few times here, my friend.
Circular logic? Sorry, I was looking at the chat for a split second there. Like, the what goes at the core of this is an individual's right to life. An innocent individual's right to life.
What goes to the core of this is the individual's right to choice. Now you have to make a choice. What supersedes? Choice or life? But then if you're going to choose life,
you have to fetus had no choice.
You have to, quite frankly, defend all life.
And so would my fellow human being and not attack it.
But you'll hunt.
We're talking about human lives here, man.
Oh my God. You can't. Oh my God. And you're fine with the death penalty. Again,
one human that killed another human. They're not getting the death penalty because they killed an animal.
Directly killed anyone. And again, you're saying this life is worthless because it isn't mine. I'm saying at the time that we allow abortions, that life is the same as the deer's life. That's what I've been arguing the whole time. I'm sorry, but you have this. You think that human life is above other life. I'm saying it's not. Okay?
That sounds like vegan logic right there.
Well, maybe it is, but I will also eat what I kill. I don't consider a cow's life sacred. I don't consider a cow's life to mean a damn thing. Therefore, I'm going to eat it.
You don't consider a human's life sacred or worth a damn either, with the same as a cow?
It does end.
Like the cashier that you buy the beef from? I mean, you said earlier that you don't find
How far would
like,
you? How far would you
you,
really
hey,
go?
can I finish my point right there? You said earlier that you do not consider human life to be hardly any better than an animal life, and then you go saying that you don't consider the animal worth a damn except as your own food.
Okay.
I mean, you equivalent animals with humans, but one you say is worth nothing but food. So I'm asking, do you apply the same logic to a human?
As I am standing here right now, no. Um, because I am standing in a place where I can get ample food and ample meat from animals. No. However, if your scenario plays out and I am with this cashier from wherever the hell, and we get lost in the mountains, and it's me and her, yeah, I got no problem with cannibalism.
Oh shit! Like, maybe if they're already dead, I don't know. I mean, it might be a bit of a moot point, but if you kill them beforehand, the point that
Well, I didn't have to answer that, whether I kill them beforehand or not. But if they're dead and their flesh is there,
yeah, if they're already
get the fucking
if they're
get the
already
fucking
dead,
friend. You
I
know?
mean, you're obviously going to have health problems if you do eat the human being, but
Oh,
as far
why?
as what?
Why?
I thought there was like a generally known thing right there.
Oh
Suffer
God.
health problems.
I was fucking starving to death. Sorry, I ate a fellow human being. Now I don't plan to ever put myself in a position to ever fucking deal with this. So, but I'd much rather get to your again. But again, you would have an instance if I ripped a fetus out of a woman's belly and ate that as a nice meatball. Because that's what it is.
And what
And
I'm trying to get at is that
again,
there's a different set of rules when it comes to between
oh
humans
my
and animals.
God.
And I say we should extend
And
the
I
same.
just said I would eat a fellow human being. I just told you if the situation was bad enough.
Would you kill them beforehand? Would you kill them for your food?
All right, in this extreme situation, I don't exactly know what I would do, but that might be a possibility.
Well, fuck. Then you don't really fall under the same moral standard as the rest of civilization does. Apparently, corpse.
Really? Look at the Donner Party.
Okay.
Look
But
at hundreds of other situations throughout history where somebody has been near death, close to death, and the other people killed them to eat them to stay alive. You're talking about an
kill
extreme
them to eat them.
situation. Yes, kill them to eat them.
Yeah, well, at least humans are not so out and out just willing to say, yes, I'm willing to kill and eat other fellow
Oh,
humans.
Jesus Christ. I'm also dealing with a hypothetical, too.
Hmm.
I mean, I don't actually have. I'm not dying in the mountains. I mean, I'm not faced with a dying man. In truth, in all honesty, I have no idea how actually I would react. But sitting here right now in my nice air conditioned home, with plenty of food in my fridge, I would say yes. I would maybe kill a fellow human being to eat and live because yeah, my life is that important to me.
Okay. So
But
what you're
I
saying
don't
throughout this whole debate,
I don't get why a girl down in Mississippi who's terrified to reveal to her family that she's pregnant can't just go get an abortion because you think the fucking fetus doesn't have the brain that can come to that rational decision, has the same right to life that I do.
You're sort of denying biology when you constantly say it doesn't have a brain. I mean, if you want to talk about
God.
if you want to talk about before 7 weeks of conception, well then fine.
No, I'm not going to fucking talk about that, because if you want to talk about brain activity, then we're going to talk about degrees of brain activity. Okay? Again, before the brain is fully formed, she's at a chimps level. But we experiment and kill them all the fucking time.
And I say that if it's because that they are at a lower level of brain activity, the fetus.
So
and that's hey, can I finish my point?
98% human DNA.
Hey, shut up. God, you made me lose my train of thought there. Thanks. Okay, if you were going to say that it is all right to kill a fetus because of lower human brain activity, well then I would say then by that logic, is it all right to kill a fresh newborn because they have like a smaller amount of brain activity in comparison to that of a 25-year-old?
No, the newborn's been born. It's good. I'm talking about killing it before it gets born. And quite frankly,
so you're now for late terms all of a sudden. You're now for late terms all of a sudden.
Not once it's been born. And I think my stance is perfectly reasonable about 25 weeks.
Well, you said that you were talking about killing it before it's born.
It's not viable at 25 weeks. I do know that. Like, what do you want? Like, where are you going with this? And again, even if we go with your plan, again, you would have massive amounts of funding for new orphanages. You don't have the foster home system set up right now to deal with the kids. We have fucking orphanages right now. The reason we legalized abortion, the reason we legalized it was to stop problems like this. And quite frankly, I'll be goddamned if I'm going to see those problems return. Abortion might not be pleasant. I might agree with you on that point. But I got news for you. It's the best solution to the problem. And again, you tend to agree with me. You know, when somebody fucking commits a grievous crime, you're fine right there with me. Let's kill them. And that's a fully functioning human being. Again.
Different. Okay, let's calm down, collect our heads here for a second. What I'm saying is that it's a different set of rules when somebody intends to break those rules, and a murderer breaks those rules by...
I'm saying it's not. How's this? We don't have a system in place to deal with the kids that will come in. And again, medical technology has advanced way beyond where Roe v. Wade was. We are going to have we're going to have orphanages springing up all over the place if we do not have abortions or the morning after pill or the what the fuck ever.
Okay, and if you want to talk about compensations for that, I'd say education, sex education, and as far as the morning after pill, I am still not convinced that works anytime after 7 weeks.
Doesn't work. Sex education doesn't work because your average 16-year-old thinks he's invincible and thinks he can just pull out. Okay? Or your average teenage girl thinks that if her boyfriend pulls out, she will be fine.
I wonder what the correlation is.
You're dealing with... This is the thing. You're dealing with when reality comes to crash your party. I deal with reality, my friend. You're dealing with an ideology. Your ideology dictates that human life is sacred and must be defended at all costs, except in the case when said human life has done something bad. I am telling you,
Yeah.
the reality of the situation is human life ain't so fucking sacred.
And then if everybody was to go off of that rule that life isn't sacred, well, then we should just live in complete anarchy and everybody is allowed to kill themselves.
They have to follow laws. But I would also like their laws and need their laws to reflect the fact that if a woman doesn't want to have a fucking baby, and before the brain is formed, she can just get that shit sucked right out.
And laws are based off of the morality that everybody generally accepts being right to life. And I think that it's an unequal. Can I please?
Right.
Can I please? And I find it to be an unequal execution of the law when you execute protections of the right to.
Are you done? I lost you there.
Or a difference in a human's brain activity.
Right.
So
unpopular law doesn't mean it's not right. When the Supreme Court passed the marriage equality thing, or ruled that marriage inequality laws were unconstitutional, it wasn't popular. It wasn't. And quite frankly, my thought is, if you're going to defend, one law, you have to support the others. I hate to say this. We passed the abortion law, and it wasn't popular. I get that. But we passed it because it did more harm than good. All right, I take that back. It did more good than harm. That was the basis of the marriage argument, that it did more good than harm. Just fuck it. And because you can't really base a law on religious viewpoints.
This isn't religious, man.
I know you've kept it out of it, but again, the heart of the fucking abortion argument is religious. But let me finish my point. At the end of the day, and I tend to agree with it, the rights of the mother, to a certain point, supersede any rights that fucking fetus might have.
Any right a fetus might have. Yeah,
yes,
and
to a point. There is a point. And we can quibble over the point.
Yeah, and I say to a point as well. And my quibbling over the point is that when it comes to right to life, life of mother. That's what I meant to say.
Well, my point comes pretty clear. It's been somewhere between 32 and 36 weeks. She has the right to abort it if she doesn't want it. And quite frankly, that abortion solves way, way more problems than it creates. And that's why I think abortion should say it solves more problems than it creates. Same thing as why I think pot should be legal or heroin. Solves more problems than it creates.
Okay, so I don't know. We're gonna keep on running around in circles on the morality, and I think you're drunk right now. At least it sounds like it.
Well, you're the one. we've been debating for damn near 2 hours, and you're the one that keeps trying to square the hole. I mean, again,
Square the hole.
why do you think it's moral? Why do you think it's moral to tell a young lady who's pregnant past your 7 weeks, again, when she probably doesn't know she's even pregnant, that she has to carry the baby to term and she has no right or autonomy over her body for the next about 29 to 30 weeks? That's ridiculous.
Oh,
Also,
I don't know if
why? Also, where do you get off telling me that I had to pay for kids I have no part of, I'm never going to meet, but I have to pay for them? Also, again, you have another argument problem. You agree with me that we should have the death penalty.
I've already addressed that.
But when does life stop becoming sacred?
When you start invading on other people's
why
life.
is the murderer's life not sacred anymore? You know, again,
I said, can I address that? Hey, can I please address that?
All right.
When they invade on other people's right to life.
Okay. The fetus is maybe very well. The fetus is actually invading on the mother's right to life. She can't.
There was
She
no
cannot
intent.
No. A woman who is having a child has to basically completely rearrange her life. She's got to eat special food. She's got to be on a special diet. She can't have coffee. She can't have alcohol. She can't have soda. There's a lot of shit that goes on.
Yet she still lives. I mean, when I say right to life, I'm meaning the right to live that people cannot take away.
Well, why doesn't the
pregnant?
Why doesn't the killer have the right to life? We could just regulate his life like that.
Because he killed another life.
Oh my God!
I mean, you're comparing. You're comparing.
No. What I'm saying is, you can't sit there and say that guy's life is worthless, that guy's life is forfeit, and then force another human being who's done nothing wrong to say, you must carry this life, you must change your whole life, you must change everything you do with your life for this life. Also,
what if
the mom's an alcoholic? What if she's not going to give up drinking? What if the mom learns she's pregnant? She tells the doctor, and then tells your government body, you know what? Fuck it, I'm not going to give up drinking. So now
she's affecting a second party at that point. And if I can address an earlier argument, you're comparing like a life that is like indirectly. When I say indirectly, I mean like unintentionally. I'll use that word instead. You're comparing somebody who like unintentionally. Can I please have the floor here for a bit? It's giving you plenty of time to talk within the past 10 minutes or something like that. With only anyway, you're comparing like a life that has unintentionally caused somebody to rearrange their own life to preserve their right to life. You're comparing that to somebody who takes away another person's life entirely. Those are not equivalent.
So let me get this straight. You're trying to say that I'm equating somebody who takes somebody's life away artificially versus, what was the last thing you said?
I said you're comparing somebody who unintentionally causes second party to rearrange their own life to somebody who intentionally prevents a person from living altogether.
And you're going to stand there and tell me that a woman who's pregnant and going to give a baby under your rules doesn't have to rearrange her entire
That doesn't
fucking
have to
life.
what?
She doesn't have to rearrange her entire fucking life.
No,
I
didn't
have a
say.
simple solution.
I didn't say that
You
she
just
doesn't.
said that.
No, no, that's not what I. That's not what I said.
How
I
doesn't
said,
she have to rearrange her life?
no, man. What I said was you're comparing somebody who unintentionally causes
Oh my
second
God.
party, the mother, to have to rearrange her life so that first party, the fetus, can continue to survive. You're comparing that instance to somebody who completely takes away another person's life altogether. I mean, I'm not saying at all
The second
that
party.
they don't. I don't. I'm
The
not. I'm
second
not.
party.
Hey, I'm not. Hey, I'm not saying at all that they don't have. That they absolutely don't have to rearrange their own life. I mean, obviously they will in order to preserve the second party that is like connected to them.
Yeah, well, the second party is the fetus. I mean, and that's not actually the way you phrased it before.
Yeah, and the way she was before wasn't caused by that second party. Or the way that she was before wasn't violated by that second party.
You know,
much less intentionally.
Okay. Let's say I surrender.
What?
Let's say I surrender and we go with your vision. What would your vision look like? I am actually curious because I'm curious. How are you going to deal with all the dumpster babies, prom night babies, unwanted babies, and you know what? I'm just going to stop with those three. Without the assistance of state-run orphanages, state-run charities, aka taxes, how the fuck are you gonna pull that one off?
Like I said, whatever is the proper programs, I would rather increase welfare than increase abortions. So if we have to like give WIC or food stamps to all the mothers who are at least partially willing to keep the child, well then I say that I'm all for that. I mean, primarily I am more for damn it, donations more than anything. A charity, that was a proper word that I was looking for. I'm more for charity than welfare, but welfare is a nice second option. And as far as orphanages go, I mean, you make the point, and I'm not denying that orphanages and foster homes are shitty and whatnot. I just say that it seems unjust. I mean, I do not know what the reform is to those.
Can I tell you the reality? The reality is you're going to have these fucking kids in a goddamn state-run orphanage. That is what's going to fucking happen if we go with your fucking right to life fantasy. Sorry I'm getting so pissed about this, but this is just reality. It has happened before. It happened in the 30s when we didn't have all this medical technology and kids were adopted at a more regular rate.
Okay.
You're
and
going again.
What I'm saying, okay. I don't know what the fix is to that, honestly, but I think that the
abortion. That's the fix. There you go.
You violate the one most sacred of human rights.
Oh, God, for Christ's sakes, the human right to life isn't sacred. You violate it with fucking the death penalty. That's your sacred right? End war.
Dude, I've already tackled the whole death penalty instance, and we did not go diving deep enough into the whole war circumstance. And it really is getting a little bit late. We've gone on for 2 hours. You said you're getting drunk. This conversation is getting more and more derailed. I think that we should wrap it up soon.
Would you like to know?
We're getting circular.
I've kind of let you lead a little bit. I hate to say this, but your argument, your argument, it doesn't hold water. I mean, I hate to bring this up, but a lot of women get abortions not because they don't want to have the fucking baby, but they get abortions out of the economic necessity of their situation at the time. It's not like they fucking sit there and jack off over fucking. No, a lot of these women are actually not on welfare. Most welfare mamas keep their fucking baby because it increases their fucking welfare. And increases food stamps and increases all the other shit. The more kids you have in that goddamn home, the more money you get. The reality is, most of the girls getting abortions probably align closer with your values than do the abortion mamas.
So, you said
I should know. I've known more than one.
I got a question. You said earlier that the reason why they get abortions is because of economic necessity, correct?
Yes.
That's why I said welfare.
Okay. Most of the girls would rather get the abortion than go on welfare. I've known them. I don't think you have.
I've known a few people. In fact, I have. Oh, God. I've known a few people. I know at least an aunt and a former coworker who have gotten abortions. And truth of the circumstance here is, I'm more willing to put my money into. In fact, I gotta donate again to KCFL, but I'm more than willing to put my money in to incentivize them not to go for the abortion and ultimately help their own child to live.
Okay. That's a right pretty speech.
Was that sarcasm? That was sarcasm, wasn't it?
Well, no. I've known several women who have gotten abortions, and for them to have the child at the time would have been a fucking disaster. Sad fact of the matter is, look, if you get pregnant and you don't think you can do it, you don't think, we provide a nice little easy out for you. It's called an abortion.
I think perhaps that's where we'll end it at.
I think so too.
I mean, the abortion discussion itself, anyways. And I did not know if there was anything else that you wanted to see to me. Actually, I'm curious. Was you ever tempted to respond to my response video to you to conservative and abortion?
But when you said live debate, I was like, well, fuck it, maybe put him in the pile.
Yeah. And the one thing that kind of prompted me to really want to do this debate was when you did that response video to Ben Shapiro on his commentary on television. I wanted to put aside the issue of abortion. We've beaten that dead horse to a pulp at this point. But anyway, one thing that I want to say about that whole Ben Shapiro video, did you think that he was wanting to shut down TV shows that he didn't like, or it thought the morals were kind of messed up that they're preaching? Did you think he wanted to shut them down?
In all honesty, when it comes to Ben Shapiro, and I've listened to several of his podcasts since then. With Ben, I don't fucking know what he wants. I mean,
Well,
you have a guy who I don't know, expounds his freedom with one hand and then also says we should follow the Ten Commandments with another. I don't know what the hell he was getting. Ben he gets to be dude.
Whatever he wants to legislate based on religion, I'll go ahead and be with you on that. Again, I argue abortion on a secular level, but I don't know. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it almost seemed like that you were implying that you thought that Ben Shapiro was wanting to shut down the TV shows which were preaching morals that he didn't approve of.
If I did, that came from Ben Shapiro's own podcast, which at times, if you do listen to, can get a little 1 million momish.
Did you watch the entirety, the full 5 fucking minutes of the PragerU video where he was talking about TV shows?
Okay. To be fair and to be honest, I watched, I think if I remember correctly, about 4 minutes and 30 seconds of it. So unless okay, fine.
That's the thing. The last 30 seconds to a minute of it, he said, by all means, enjoy television. I do. Clearly implying that not only does he not want to shut down these TV shows, but he doesn't discourage people from watching them.
But
so he also kind of pissed me off about the.
He also spent most of his video saying how immoral these things were.
Yeah, I mean,
again,
he can do that all he wants. I mean,
comes to a point where, okay, if I said that black people are just horrible pieces of shit and they should be in the fields again picking cotton, and then in the last 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 20 seconds of my video say, well, hell, black people, they're all right. Again, what conclusion would you draw?
If you were talking about purely statistics, like, in fact, you do talk about statistics, about crime statistics of black people, but at the same time, I don't assume that you are a fucking racist that thinks that it's inherent that black people will commit crime. But no, I mean, that's not his mainstay, doing movie reviews, but as far as I'm concerned, Ben Shapiro can do that all he wants. And in fact, with your response to Ben Shapiro, there were some points that I kind of did agree with you on. And there were some points that I disagreed with Ben Shapiro on. Like, for example, I don't think that it was media influence that made people dislike Gerald Ford and George Bush. Like, I don't think you need a whole lot of TV influence to make people dislike them too. A couple of the most hated Republicans of modern times. But the main thing that pisses me off about the criticism to Ben Shapiro regarding his criticism of TV media is that people are acting like he wants to completely shut down these TV shows, when ultimately at the bare end of the video he clearly implies that he does not want to do it. In fact, not only does he not want to shut down them, he doesn't want to prevent people from watching them if that really is their prerogative.
Here's the thing. At the end of the day, if it really came down to a choice of censorship and not censorship, I know that Ben would be on my side, and we could agree on that point. And that'd be about it in the argument. Look, I disagree with Ben Shapiro about 50% of the time. Maybe even more.
What percent? You kind of broke out.
Oh, 50. About half the time.
Okay.
I disagree with Ben. Here's the thing, though. Both me and him, we can also come together on this one and and all that. I also I agree with Ben Shapiro, excuse me, on the freedom of speech. Ben Shapiro has the right to say whatever in the fuck he wants about whatever in the fuck he wants, and no one can stop him. Just as I have the freedom to say whatever in the fuck I want about anything I want, and no one can stop me. Just as my wonderful opponent tonight, the Dark Conservatarian, can say whatever in the fuck he wants, and that's why we've been in a debate for about 2 fucking hours over abortion, because I can say what I want, he can say what he wants, and you people can.
I don't have any problem with you responding to Ben Shapiro, and a lot of that did warrant response.
Well, actually, the whole time I've been trying to get this pro-debate message out.
Okay. Cody Ray in the chat says War Corpse is definitely drunk. So, hey, I think I'm going to let you go right now. Let you sleep it off. We've chat for a good, like you said, 2 hours.
Actually, he's the only motherfucker in the chat that says that.
Well,
right now, I got a much larger people that says that much larger people debating abortion versus the death penalty.
You also definitely sound drunk, just in my opinion.
Well, I'm not drunk. When you get to my age, my lad, you'll know the stages of drunk. This isn't it. I definitely can't drive a car, though. I will say that.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to close chat, and I will end this broadcast. And
all right.
I will say, for the record, I am not actually drunk, but I can't drive a damn car. I'm somewhere in between.
And for the record, we can both at least agree when it comes to late-term abortions.
We could also both agree on a variety of other subjects, like socialism sucks.
Yeah.
Communism sucks.
Yeah.
Capitalism is great.
Yep.
Donald Trump is not fucking Hitler.
Nor is he a savior.
You're damn right. Nor is he a savior. So, all right, we're gonna end this motherfucker now.
All right.